I've worked up to 5 plates and I am just going to get a uncomfortable amount of sets on it. It's not going to be nice. As many sets as I can until my form really breaks down. More than 5 sets is the target, but I'm just going to keep going and going until my legs are pretty much dead. But here we go. Okay, doing a half-time intermission. It's pretty tough, this workout, pretty tough. So, I'm not quite deloading, but ordinarily I have my 3 workouts cycle for each movement pattern. So obviously this is my leg / squat movement pattern. Ordinarily today, I would have been back round to my kind of heavy set of 5, heavy triple, heavy double, or heavy single. But my body just wasn't feeling it today. I could absolutely tell from the warm-ups, my body wasn't feeling it. The maximal strength wasn't there. And that's when you have to just simply be instinctive and listen to your body a little bit. Because that's how you avoid injuries. So rather than working up to probably in the mid 300 kilos, which would have been, for a whatever, I decided to just get some volume with 5 plates with 220 kilos and sets of 10. And it is hard, very hard. I'd been taking probably 2 to 3 minutes between sets, and I can feel my form starting to break down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just try resting a little longer, see if that recharges the batteries, and see if I can get another couple of sets out of it. It's a lot. My legs are fried. They're absolutely pumped. The DOMS is going to be crazy for the next few days. So yeah, as I said, just comes with a little bit of experience, just learning to listen to your body. So rather than hurting myself, 220 for me isn't a super heavy weight. It's, it's a mid-range weight. So this is just a way of getting some good work in and breaking muscle tissue down, building strength through volume, and also avoiding hurting myself. too much. All right, I'll check in with you guys in another couple of sets. Okay, that's enough of that. I didn't have a exact amount of sets that I wanted to do. I was just being instinctive with it. And I know I've hit at least 6, I think, work sets. I don't honestly know. 6, 7 work sets maybe. But I had a little rest, got another couple of sets. But my legs are saying they've had enough now. They've had enough. I can just feel my form starting to break down. And even though 220 kilos for me isn't like maximal weights, 220 kilos is still a lot of weight and it's still enough to hurt you. So, and that's when we just have to listen to the body. But it turned into a decent workout in the end. Not bad, not bad. Considering this is not what I'd got planned originally. But as I said, something's bound to have happened now. Because I feel like death. Gosh. There is nothing like squatting. There is nothing like squatting, just in terms of what it does to your body and the sort of pain you have to go through. You guys know I love the deadlift. I love deadlifting. But a big squat for higher repetitions, it just does so many wonderful things to the body. It activates so many muscles. It's unbelievable. But also just your fitness, your lung capacity, everything. It's so hard and it's just mentally challenging. And a thing with a moderate weight squat for reps or volume or whatever is, I describe it as like character building almost. It just tests your sanity. It tests your soul, it tests your spirit. That's just the wonders of training. Training is just such a beautiful thing. And, iron and gravity, it doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care what car you drive. It doesn't care how much money you've got in your bank account. It doesn't care about your emotions. It doesn't care if you've got relationship problems. It's just iron and gravity. And 220 kilos to you is the same as 220 kilos to your neighbor. It's the same as 220 kilos to me. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Anyway, I just want to say a massive, massive, massive thank you to Strength Universe. I know quite a few of you who are regular subs to me have kind of messaged me about it and, saying how much you like the video. He did such an amazing job. And I was so honoured, like genuinely so honoured for, such a massive channel like him to take notice of a guy who only a few weeks ago only had like 500 subs. You know, it's an absolute honour. And the video was just lovely. It was just great. And, you know, to kind of talk about me in the same breath as, you know, like those guys who are legends, who are, you know, people I look up to, is incredible. Absolutely incredible for this little old vegetarian 46-year-old junior school teacher training in his back garden. You know, to be compared with some of the top boys out there was incredible and mind-blowing to me. Absolutely mind-blowing. And I never think of myself like that. I know quite a few of you guys are quite thrown off and a bit disconcerted by my sort of chilled attitude with the lifting. You know, when you genuinely just love lifting and testing yourself and whatever, you know, the numbers are cool, the numbers are all good and everything, but I just genuinely just love lifting. I've never wanted to compete. I've never felt the need to compete, like to prove myself or anything like that. So much of the lifting I do has been done on my own for years. Some of the best lifts I've ever done are not recorded. I remember the very first time I pulled 400 kilos. I did it, to be fair, I did it in a local gym, but it wasn't recorded. There were quite a few people in the gym at the time who were like, whoa, you don't see that every day. But I didn't record it. But I knew I'd done it, you know. I've got some bench presses. I first started hitting over 200 kilos in my kind of mid-20s on the bench press, which you didn't see that much of in those days. But again, none of it was recorded. I just did it because I love it, you know, and to this day, it's only relatively recently that I've started kind of recording myself regularly, like for YouTube and stuff like that. And a big part of the driving force behind it was, because I've had my YouTube channel for years and years, but I never really used it. I've had it probably about 10 years, but I only started uploading probably last November regularly. And it was actually my kids at school, my class of kids at school were the ones that kind of got me a little bit more motivated to start recording a bit more and everything. I did a bit of Facebook, and well, to be fair, I only joined Instagram last year as well. So I've just never been fussed. I've just never been bothered about it, because I genuinely don't lift for anyone else. I like genuinely, I know it might sound cheesy or cliche or whatever, but I genuinely don't lift for anyone else. I lift for me because I love lifting, and lifting keeps me sane, and it stops me being an unpleasant person. And, you know, it helps me be a good dad. It helps me be a good husband and a better all-round person. Because without it, I would be very different. I've said to you guys before, I'd be very, very different. It chills me out. It relaxes me. You know, it gives me my endorphin buzz. It helps those little voices that we all have in our head go away. You know, until I need feeding again. And, you know, I genuinely do it because I love lifting. I want to be strong. I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I want to live a long life. You know, I want to see my kids grow up and get married. I want to be able to retire and, you know, enjoy the peaceful life with my wife when I'm older and all that kind of stuff. And lifting does that for you, you know. I've said to there's a number of you guys who are new to the channel, so welcome. And I know quite a few of you came over from Strength Universe, it's just my family, like genetically, are very, very, very strong people, but they've all got weak hearts, and like my whole of my father's generation have passed on now at young ages because of like bad hearts and things like that. There were 9 of them. 7 of them died of heart-related illnesses and things like that. You know, from maybe not always making the best dietary choices. Don't get me wrong, they lifted and they were strong and all of this kind of stuff. But you know, maybe not being all round healthy didn't help. It's a genetic predisposition, but you know, I try to lift and everything like that. But I do a lot of fitness stuff. I do a tremendous amount of circuiting. I do the bodybuilding volume stuff, and I do conditioning work almost every day in the morning at you know, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm down here 45 minutes getting my conditioning work in as well. So I do it genuinely for the love of it and to prolong my life, you know, and just to make me an all-round better, more rounded, balanced person, you know. But there's me being all philosophical. All right, anyway, as I said, genuinely thank you very, very much to all of you guys who have just joined the channel. It's been lovely, and the guys who have come over have been absolutely great. You've been really nice and absolutely welcome. Because my channel's just a drama-free channel. I'm not into nonsense. I'm a big dude who likes lifting lumps of iron from point A to point B in his back garden, and sometimes in his local gym, but mostly in his back garden, and then having a bit of a chat about it afterwards, and that's me. And a lot of the time, I spend as much time talking to the camera as you'll probably see in the video training. Now, this video, I'll probably have to fast forward because watching me do however many sets, so I'll probably just fast forward it and put a bit of music over the top. But so the actual talking I'm doing now is probably going to last longer than the lifting. But I think the kind of guys who gravitate to my channel are into that kind of thing as well. So on that note, I'm going to check out now. So do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. You guys take care, and I will speak to you soon.